Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the science class. Today, we continue our discussion on chapter 2, that is nutrition in animals. In the previous classes, you learned about what is digestion, the different ways of taking food by different organisms, digestion in humans, the parts of the alimentary canal. So, the first part we studied the mouth and buccal cavity. Today, let us start with the food pipe, esophagus. The swallowed food passes into the food pipe or esophagus. The food pipe runs along the neck and the chest, and food is pushed down by the movement of the wall of the food pipe. Actually, this movement takes place throughout the alimentary canal and pushes the food downwards. So, this is esophagus. The food is pushed down by the movement of the wall of the food pipe. Here you can see a particular kind of movement. The third part is the stomach. The stomach is a thick-walled bag. Its shape is like a flattened U, and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. Here you can see a flattened U shape. It is the widest part of the alimentary canal. It receives food from the food pipe at one end. It receives food from the food pipe at one end. Here the food is received and opens into the small intestine to the other here. The inner lining of the stomach secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices. The inner lining of the stomach secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices. Now let us see the functions of these three secretions. The mucus protects the lining of the stomach. The hydrochloric acid kills many bacteria that enter along with the food and makes the medium in the stomach acidic. The digestive juices break down the proteins into simpler substances. The mucus protects the lining of the stomach. The hydrochloric acid kills bacteria and makes the medium in the stomach acidic. The digestive juices break down the proteins into simpler substances. The next part is small intestine. The small intestine is highly coiled and is about 7 to 5 meters long, the highly coiled tube. It receives secretions from the liver and the pancreas. Besides, its wall also secrete juices. So the small intestine receives secretions from the liver, this is the liver, and secretions from the pancreas. Let us see the structure of liver and pancreas. The liver is a reddish brown gland situated in the upper part of the abdomen on the right side. Here you can see structure of liver. It secretes bile juice that is stored in a sac called gallbladder. Here you can see the gallbladder. The bile juice is secreted by the liver and it is stored in gallbladder. The bile plays an important role in the digestion of fats. Then the pancreas is a large cream colored gland located just below the stomach. This is stomach. So the pancreas is located just below the stomach. The pancreatic juice adds on carbohydrates and proteins and changes them into simpler forms. So the secretions from the liver, that is bile juice, acts upon fats, and pancreatic juice acts upon proteins and carbohydrates. So partly digested food now reaches the lower part of the small intestine from the stomach, and where the intestinal juices complete the digestion of all components of the food. So the partly digested food from the stomach now reaches the lower part of the small intestine, where the intestinal juice completes the digestion of all components of the food. So the carbohydrates get broken into simple sugars such as glucose, fats into fatty acid and glycerol, proteins into amino acids. So this is the end products of digestion. The carbohydrates is converted to simple sugars such as glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins into amino acids. Now let us see the absorption in the small intestine. The digested food now the digested food can now pass into the blood vessels in the wall of the intestine, and this process is called absorption. The inner walls of the small intestine have thousands of finger-like outgrowths. These are called villi. The singular is villus. Here you can see the finger-like projections. See, these are the finger-like projections. So this is called villi. The function of villi is to increase the surface area for absorption of the digested food. To increase the surface area for absorption of the digested food. Each villus has a network of thin and small blood vessels close to its surface. The surface of the villi absorb the digested food materials. The absorbed substances are transported via the blood vessels to different organs of the body where they are used to build complex substances such as proteins required by the body. So the absorbed substances are transported via the blood vessels to different organs of the body or to different cells and where these substances are used up. So that process is known as assimilation. In the cells, glucose breaks down with the help of oxygen into carbon dioxide and water, and energy is released. In the cells, glucose is broken down with the help of oxygen and releases carbon dioxide and water. As a result, we are getting the energy. The food that remains undigested and unabsorbed then enters into the large intestine. So let us see structure of large intestine. The large intestine is wider and shorter than small intestine. You can see the wider and it is shorter than small intestine. It is about 1.5 meter in length. The function of large intestine is to absorb water and some salts from the undigested food materials. The function of large intestine is to absorb water and some salts from the undigested food materials. The remaining waste passes into the rectum. Here is a rectum and remains there as semi-solid feces. The fecal matter is removed through the anus from time to time, and this is called ejection. So the fecal matter is removed through the anus from time to time, and that process is called ejection. Dear students, this is all for today's class. Hope you all have understood it. The next class, you will learn about digestion in grass-eating animals and the nutrition in amoeba. Till then, bye, take care.